Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tinesha Davis, and in this video I want to talk about 5 things I did to become a millionaire. Now, I've seen this topic floating around the YouTube streets, and I wanted to add my 2 cents to the subject. Now, in my situation, I want to give a definition of what a millionaire is to me. Now, what it means is that I have a net worth of $1 million. It doesn't mean that I have $1 million sitting in a bank somewhere. But it does mean that if I chose to sell all of my assets and then pay the appropriate or associated taxes with those sales, I would then have $1 million if I chose to move that money to a bank. But here's the thing. I did not start working towards $1 million net worth until after I was 40 years old. I think that's important because what I really would like to convey to all of you out there who are not yet in your 40s or maybe in your 40s or somewhere near there or even after your 40s, it's not too late. It's not too late. Here's a little background on my journey. I made my very first video on YouTube over 6 years ago, January of 2016. My New Year goal that year was to get educated on my money and to find ways that I could make my money work for me, because I was making a good income, but I knew that I was not maximizing what my money should be doing. Matter of fact, I didn't even know what my money should be doing or what was possible for money. I turned 40 in June that same year. In 2016, I still had student loan debt and I had credit card debt, and I did not even have a plan or the desire to pay those things off. I paid the minimum payments on all of the things, to include my mortgages. The idea of even sending an extra $50 to my mortgage felt like a waste of my hard-earned money at the time. And I also had very high interest rates associated with those mortgages, simply because I had heard things like it was expensive to refinance, or to refinance on a rental property meant that you would have a high interest rate. So in my mind, I was like, let me not refinance, because I purchased that rental property when it was my primary home. And so in my mind, not knowing any better, I thought that the interest rate I had was going to be better than the interest rate I could have gotten had I let them refinance it as a rental property. Y'all, that was nowhere near the truth. In 2016, I had no idea what my net worth was, nor was I interested in finding out. In fact, I did not do my net worth for a good 2 years. At the end of 2017, December, so 1 month from January 2018, which would have been 2 years, right? So in December of 2017, I did my net worth for the very first time. At that time, my net worth was a little over $340,000. In the next 4 years, I got smarter about my money and I started implementing some practices. And in that 4-year span, I amassed an additional $700,000, putting me in the millionaire status. In this video, I want to talk about the 5 things I did to achieve that. Tip number 1, slow and steady wins the race. I do not believe in get rich quick ideas. So what I began to do was a little bit at a steady pace until I could do more. I started out by contributing 3% to my 401k, and then I built myself up until I was able to match what the company would match. And then I worked myself up 1% at a time, because the idea wasn't just what I could do, but I also had to make sure I was comfortable with what I was doing. And so 1% increase at a time until I eventually maxed out my 401k contribution. The same idea went towards saving as well as adding additional money to my mortgage payments. The one thing I did not do was skip months of contribution or lower what I contributed. Number 2, I decided that I would not give away more money than I have to. And this is in the name of interest. I decided that I would work towards being debt-free. I started viewing consumer interest as me just giving money away to a company that had way more money than I had. And this made me, angry is not the right word. I don't even know what the right word is right now, but it kind of put this audacity in my spirit. Like, how dare you try to get over on me by selling me a product in the form of a loan that had these exorbitant interest rates attached. Like, why would I continue to let them take advantage of me, the underdog in this fight? So determined to win and come out on top, I made a plan to pay off all debt. I've been living debt-free for the past 6 years, and now anytime I enter into a contract that will involve interest, I make sure that it's by choice and not circumstance. I also make sure that I shop around for the best loan product that I qualify for. And long gone are the days of signing contracts blindly. Number 3, I visualize daily how my life would feel once I reach my financial goals. First was the goal of becoming debt-free. What would I then be able to do with my money when I didn't have debt bills to pay? Then it was reaching savings milestones. One of the exercises I would do is, once I reached a milestone of, let's say, $1,000, which is one of the first steps you should take before paying off debt, put at least $1,000 in a bank account. Once I reached that, what I would do is I would walk around the mall and I would look at the price tags of things that I would want, and I would just say to myself, or maybe out loud in a whisper, depending who I was with, I could buy that if I wanted to. I could buy that if I wanted to. Hey, I could buy that if I wanted to. That felt so good. And every time I reached another milestone, whether it be $5,000 or $10,000, I would just view the world in terms of things that I could buy free and clear if I wanted to. If I wanted to. But I didn't want to, because stacking up my riches felt more fun and it was so empowering. Number 4, I shifted my mindset. I truly believe that if you see it, you could be it. And so in order for me to see these things, I found mentors. Now here's the thing. Actually, the whole mentor thing was something I prayed for. I prayed for a mentor. And I thought at the time that that mentor was going to be a physical person, a physical thing. But then when I realized it wasn't going to be that, I discovered motivational speeches, motivational speakers, and I started listening to them because I knew I had to rewire and retrain the way I thought. So through books and seminars, I started changing my thinking. I became obsessed with books like Think and Grow Rich, The Magic of Thinking Big, and The Power of Positive Thinking, to name a few. And plus, since I've had so much experience with the law of attraction, before I even knew it was a thing or the word or anything to call it, I decided to dive deep and really study and practice the law of attraction in my life. This being number 4, changed mindset, could actually be number 1. I feel like once you change your mentality, things can move so much faster on your journey to becoming a millionaire. Number 5, with the new mindset and firm reasons why, I was then motivated to find ways to bring even more money into my experience through side hustles and extra job opportunities. While I am a huge believer that it's not what you make, it's what you keep that builds wealth in your life, I knew that there were always ways to make more and thereby keep more. Now, honestly, at first, this may feel uncomfortable because you may have to get out of your comfort zone and you may have to sacrifice. But when you think about the bigger picture of what you want in your life, and more importantly, the reason why, these things can be palatable, easy to swallow. For me, the first time that I rented out rooms in my house, I was uncomfortable. Here I was opening up my door to a stranger that me and my family were going to have to share our most private spaces with. Seriously, it was scary. So in this sacrifice, I gave up the luxury of the idea of personal space. But once that muscle of attracting more builds up, the things that you may think are sacrifice, the things that you may think feel uncomfortable at first, you will start getting used to, and it will feel normal and therefore not as painful. I started off renting just one bedroom. Now I rent out 3 and sometimes even 4 spaces at a time. Now, instead of the luxury of personal space, I think of it as the luxury of having a home that can support itself. Here's one of the mindsets that I have. If it costs you money, how can you leverage it to make money so that it can essentially support itself? For instance, if you have a home, could you rent out rooms? Can you create an office space if you have a business so that you can possibly write off some of the expenses that go with that room? Can you rent out space? Like, for instance, I actually was able to rent out some of my home in order to do a photo shoot for a cookbook at one point. And this brought in not just extra money, not just extra food, but also future opportunities. There's actually apps such as Swimly, where if you have a pool or a hot tub, you can actually rent those things out by the hour, letting people in your community use it for things like parties or just relaxations or even spa days. There are so many things in the days of the internet that you can actually leverage some of the things that you have to actually bring more money into your experience. And I am so excited about that. You have a car. When I first got my Tesla, one of the things I did was look up if I can drive Lyft, if I can drive Uber, if I could sign it up for Turo. That way, when I had a car payment for 4 short months, I could let this car pay for itself by finding ways that I can leverage it to pull in more money. Food. There are so many referral spaces that you can do these days that if you sign up for a food subscription and if people use your referral codes, your food can practically be free. I actually have an every plate referral code that I use and I make a video about from time to time. And I'll tell you, I've only paid for 1 box of every plate. Every box that I got after that has been totally free, and this offsets my food expense. Subscription plans. Is there a way that you can go in with family and friends who are fiscally responsible and possibly on a journey for financial independence as well, to either go in halves or thirds or fourths with? There's always a way that we can cut our expenses, but more importantly, there's a way that we can actually keep some of the things that we love in our lives, yet still find deals and bargains in the keeping of them. I'm not a believer that you have to cut out everything. What you do have to do, though, is think outside of the box in order to make your money work for you. Is there something that you love, something that you are passionate about? Is it possible that you can pull out a camera or your phone and start making videos and thereby create a successful and lucrative YouTube channel? Come on, let's think about it. Anyways, these are the 5 main things that I did that contributed to me becoming a millionaire. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and talk to me in the comments below if you have any tips, tricks, or habits that you built up on your journey to wealth. Until the next time, I am Tinesha Davis. This is Fun and Budget, and I will see y'all in the next video.